Nice upgrade for this E46 M3 today, 76,000 miles, very nice car with a good few upgrades. The Öhlins road and track shocks, we've done the RACP about 7 years ago, and it's in for drive shaft replacement. Luke's just unscrewing the special tool, the 18-ton hydraulic system that safely removes the drive shafts, so there's no hitting, no human force having to be thrown at that, no risk of damage. It's just a really great idea and process to be able to remove the drive shafts nice and steadily without, like I say, hitting drifts into the end of them and peening the ends over and things like that. So that's coming off, and that's because we're going in for a bit of a drivetrain overhaul. The car is in for the differential overhauls that we offer on our website. Have a look at the top right of the screen now, links to the website. Option 5 this car is having, so that's where we do the 4.1 BMW Motorsport crown wheel and pinion upgrade, which is an excellent choice. It improves from the 3.62, so you're not asking for any more power from the engine, you're not really stressing any more components, you're just playing with gears, much like you might do on a bicycle. It's just very simple equations to improve the acceleration of vehicles by changing gear sets. So 4.1, which is also going to be all stripped down. The main housing is going to be media blasted, which will bring that back to a nearly new condition. Then it'll be painted in a black paint, which will obviously enhance it visually, but also protect it from further corrosion. And then it will be all new bearings, seals, the preload and the backlash will be set up, obviously, and it will be rebuilt with new bushes, new rear cover, and the front bush as well. So that whole diff package will be going in soon, and the drive shafts are going to be renewed for genuine BMW ones. Again, they're on special offer on our website. Click the link on the top right of the page now, and you'll see we sell those on our website for a sensible price compared to the BMW retails. And it's a common package that we offer. Some people also go as far as doing the prop shaft, because the prop shafts do also have inherent play within them, especially on the splined end. It's normally where the CV joints, whether it be on the drive shaft inners or the outers or the prop CV joint drive shaft, CV joint, where it slides onto the prop shaft or the drive shaft, they are splined, and that's the only way they sort of engage and give drive, and then there's a circlet that holds them on. Now the splines seem to wear, so that's partially the drive shafts and partially the fault of the CV joint. Changing just the CV joint on its own is just only half the effect and doesn't really solve the problem. You can't actually get the CV joints for the outers. They're on license for GKN, who make the drive shafts for BMW, so that's an impossibility. Nobody's really come up with a solution apart from, I think it was either I think it was Turner Motorsport. Might have been Bimmerod, but I think it was Turner in America. Luke's just going to press this one out, so we're going to see it happen live, how easy it is to come out. What we're doing is just pumping the hydraulic system. It's not a system that we've made. This is a bolt system for pressing drive shafts with an 18-ton hydraulic cylinder. So yeah, the outer ones, I think somebody did come up with a solution from them, an American company, but they were just only race components. They only had an O-ring that sealed the grease in. They were meant for rebuilding after each race, but on a road car that was no good because they were still flick grease out, and that wouldn't be any ideal. So you can't get the inners, so people are really sort of at the mercy of having to either go for aftermarket drive shafts, which I don't know what they're like because we've never tried any, or go for genuine drive shaft. But that's sort of not a bad thing. Doing it at least once in the car's lifetime. We're not saying these need doing every few years. You're just probably doing them at least once in the car's lifetime. The cars are now approaching anywhere between 16 and 21 years old, so you know, doing that now, I don't know, some cars might still be on the road in 30 or 40 years time, but that's probably going to be just needed at least once, and it really does improve the drivability and try to remove that typical M clunk that these cars get as they get a little bit older. So when more of this car is disassembled and going back together, we'll do some further updates. So we're about the halfway point now. Drive shafts are out, the differential's out, and Luke's removed the front diff bush because you get a new diff bush in the process. There's no point putting a rear cover on and then having the old bush at the front, because the rear cover comes with 2 new bushes, so that all gets renewed. Let's go and have a look at the new parts, which we've just laid out here. So there's a few different jobs that the car's in for. Obviously the differential overhaul, which is the 4.1, which I've written on the top, so it's serialized and gives an explanation of what's inside if anybody sees it again in the future. A pair of new genuine BMW drive shafts, and then these are all the parts that we fit with our overhauls. So some of them are mandatory and some of them are optional. Details on our website. We are waiting for, BMW didn't deliver all of the bolts, the drive shaft bolts, which go into the flanges on the side. So we're waiting 10 on those and 6 of the washers. So you just have to imagine what those look like. Other than that, we've got the front bush there. The rear bushes are in the cover. We've got front exhaust downpipe bolts. We've got heat shield, fixings, nuts, anti-roll bar, bushes, socket clap bolts. washers, new rear bolts, the new designed ones, prop shaft CV joint. It's all thought about, so there's no stone left unturned. Car's also having trailing arm bushes, Powerflex ones whilst we're here, so we're going to be putting new bolts on there because they're always quite corroded, and they're the toe adjustment bolts, so it's nice that they're always free and haven't got corrosion on them for grabbing the socket when you're trying to tighten them up. We're just waiting for 2 through bolts to come from BMW. Then we're also doing a Vanos overhaul whilst the car's here. So our standard Vanos overhaul, what we call stage 1, is basically that sort of stuff there within the picture now. So you get a Vanos body gasket. These used to be about £11, but now in 2022 everything's shooting up price wise. We're not sure why, but BMW prices, much like all sort of inflation issues, are going up. These Vanos gaskets are now over £60. Ridiculous up price, but that's just the world we live in now. We've got a re-drilled oil pump disc, which obviously improves the connection between the cam hub tabs so it doesn't end up snapping them over the years. Inner bolts for the Torx bolts, they're an upgrade over the socket cap bolts. Outer hex bolts, and then we've got the Beeson seal kit systems, which are the S54 main Vanos O-ring set, anti-rattle kit, and then the Vanos plate O-rings, various O-rings and sealing rings for the process of getting the whole assembly rebuilt. So that's Vanos overhaul. Now then, on top of that, on our website, if you click on the top right of the screen now, you can see stage 2. We offer another type of Vanos overhaul, which is when you get all of that plus these items here. So that's when you get the Beeson nylon chain tensioner rather than the BMW plastic one. You also get the S62 diaphragm springs, which are classed as the B version, plus the upgraded coil pack bolts that hold all the Vanos hydraulics system back to the body, and then a Vanos filter at the end of the pressure relief valve as well. And on top of that, this car has got a snapped camshaft hub tab. So that's one of the reasons why this owner's having to go for a Vanos overhaul, because he's forced to almost, because he's got a broken cam hub. So rather than the BMW ones, which are sort of over £800 nowadays, Beeson do a perfect replica of them, which is about half the price. So and it is also quite hard to get the BMW ones. From time to time they are back ordered or not available with no delivery date. So the Beeson ones we tend to always keep in stock, and they're always available. So nice new one of that cam hub to get that assembly fitted up. So it's a good few jobs here, including the drivetrain overhaul, but also some engine improvements as well at the same time. So Diff's in, and also the new drive shafts with our special tools that, as you saw previously, push the ones out, and then we've got also special tools that draw them in, because they're an interference fit into the wheel hubs, and there's no real way to get those in unless you've got the special tools. What most people end up doing is using the back of this CV joint grease cap there, which is very thin, and hitting that with a hammer. Some people do. Some people drop this out before they put this in and hit the end of it, but all that does is just end up shocking the CV joints and the splines. We use a special tool. Sure, we've put pictures or videos on our Instagram page before, which before this bolt goes on, it connects onto the thread, and it's small enough to go through the drive flange, and it's specifically designed for pulling BMW M27 threaded and M24 non-M threaded drive shafts through, and it just draws it through really nice and safely. And then obviously a new nut on there which is peened over to lock it in place, and that's also been complemented by this owner wanting the upgraded bolts. So that's the brand new BMW bolts. If you've not seen how much they are, those are incredibly expensive. They're about 10 or 11 pounds each. And then the washers are fairly priced as well. So 12 bolts, 6 left, 6 right, and 6 washers, 3 left, 3 right. So that's all looking nice and smart. Heat shield's just going on now, and then we'll be fitting up the exhaust system next and moving on to either trailing arm bushes or engine Vanos overhaul.